Hey guys, Ace Hunter TV here to talk to you about Rainbow Six Siege and why it's dying. Rainbow Six Siege is one of the most rewarding and frustrating games to play at the same time. The almost 6 years that it's been out, it's attracted one of the largest player bases in the gaming world. But recently, it seems like everybody has kind of stopped playing it. A lot of the friends that I had on my friend list are all gone. The Steam counts for players are lower. Pros and content creators are all leaving the game as well. What kind of issues could a game this big drive away so many players? In my opinion, there are two major ways to look at this. We'll look at the aspects that drive away casual players and the aspects that drive away the more competitive players. And so we're going to start with the casual players. Siege is a very intense game with very fast time to kills, one-shot headshot mechanic, punishing recoil. It can be very difficult for new players or casual players to come in who don't have 8 hours a night to spend improving their Siege gameplay. Now, the only sense of progression that you're going to be able to get going through Siege and playing the game is going to be by increasing your rank. And that's the only way that you can kind of feel accomplished by playing Rainbow Six Siege. And so the only way to do that is by playing the ranked game mode. You don't get that in casual, you don't get that in unranked. Otherwise, these game modes are just, you go in, you play, you leave, and it ends there. Like, you don't get any rewards. There's the renown that you get for alpha packs, but that's just a chance-based thing. There's very, very little actual progression for players to work towards something to accomplish. So for a casual gamer to go in and just get slapped around in ranked and then just get frustrated and uninstall the game that night when they die to Timmy Two Hands. What kind of name is that? Die to Timmy Two Hands. Champion player smurfing in gold, just slapping people around having fun. That's not fun for everybody else. These players need something more to work towards, and now they started coming out with season passes, which is a step in the right direction. But what they really need is a new game mode like they had in Operation Chimera, a co-op game mode where players could work together and do something else besides just shoot each other in the head. Siege has a very rewarding kill system. Like, it feels good when you get kills. You can translate that into other game modes rather than just 5 people versus 5 people duke it out, you know? So there's a couple ways to really improve how casual players can enjoy Rainbow Six Siege and improve, you know, the longevity of their game time on. And one of the ways is to have some sort of progression system within, whether that be within an operator or within weapons or weapon classes or levels. There's a lot of options out there. Like, you see Battlefield, Call of Duty, all those games have wild weapon progression systems, and those have effects in game, sure, but you can even have progression systems just for cosmetics. And if they're nice cosmetics, like, people would still do that. They would still want to work towards that. And then the other thing to do is to add in other game modes. So not just other PvP game modes, but if there was an actual dedicated series of missions to play, like an expandable story or co-op missions, like I mentioned before that they had in Operation Chimera. They had a co-op game mode where you could play and fight all these zombie-like creatures with your friends as Rainbow Six operators, and it was a lot of fun. And it was there for a little bit and then gone, and we haven't seen anything like that since. That would be amazing to have. So beyond all that, there's still the problems to be had with the competitive side of Siege as well. And looking beyond the obvious answer, you know, that everybody talks about on Twitter and in streams and everything, is about the hackers. People who are blatantly like wall hacking, aimbotting, hacking to get extra utility, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. That is not the biggest reason, in my opinion, that is affecting Siege and making it lose all of its player base. Because you look at other major games, like CSGO, for example, is filled with different hackers, and they get banned, they come back, they do the same thing they do in Siege. But CSGO has been a huge game for a very, very long time. I think it goes beyond that. I don't think I think that the hacker problem is surface level. It's something that's just blatantly obvious, so people complain about it on Twitter more. I think the problem is more subtle. One of the biggest changes that's happened to Siege as time has gone on and with the operators that have come out is there's been a pretty big meta change where Siege has gone from a game where you coordinate with your team, plan things out, and attack in kind of a structured manner. And this used to be core essential to how Rainbow Six Siege worked. And it feels like it's vastly shifted in favor now to the people who actually give less thought and play it more like it's Call of Duty, where you just run in, get your kills, die, and that's it. It almost seems like you get rewarded for not thinking. I think part of this stems from having so many weapons in the game with such high damage and such high fire rates with such low recoil. I think that contributes towards the damaging, the harm in the game. It used to be, you know, there was the Ash main, you know, everybody that would play the R4C every round and be able to get easy kills because it's a very easy gun to use, and Ash is a 3-speed. Now it's the R4C is still in that kind of genre, but there's more weapons there. There's 2 operators with the G8A1, which is also kind of there. And there's 2 operators now with the AK-12, which is also a very high fire rate, very high damage gun with low recoil. I think one of the ways that this can be solved is either by slowing down fire rates or by increasing vertical recoil on a lot of guns. And if I were to decide, I would increase vertical recoil on nearly every gun in the game. Just make it higher, make it more difficult to control. Part of me thinks that there's some thought to be given to how operators move as well. I think that there's some paths to consider by tweaking operator speed. Are 3 speeds required in the game? Like, how adversely would Siege be affected if there weren't any 3-speed operators? If we just slowed them all down. In my opinion, I think that could only help the game. I think that would only make it better. And another way to consider is there's no penalty for moving while you're shooting. Now, I think realistically, there's a huge penalty for strafing while shooting. It becomes much more difficult to land accurate shots while you're strafing. I think there needs to be more sight sway or more recoil that happens while you're moving while shooting. I think there's a very serious factor there to consider so that people aren't just running into sight with the best guns in the game, spraying everybody down with almost no risk or no increased difficulty for them to do that. Like, it just makes the game is made for them to be able to do that, it seems like at this point. I really hope that Siege doesn't increase the amount of operators with universal abilities either. I understand that there are the operators that are in the game, such as Dokkaebi, Lion, these operators that have effects on the entire lobby all at once for however long that their gadget is active. I don't think that this helps Rainbow Six Siege in the tactical sense. I think that these universal abilities are harmful to how people play Rainbow Six Siege, and it further encourages the kind of crackhead gameplay that is talked about so much. I would love for there to be more considerations in the prep phase for how defenders hold a site. I think you should be able to reinforce faster so that you can accomplish more things inside the prep phase or make the prep phase longer. And in the middle of making this video, the new season was announced, revealed, whatever you call it, and there's going to be some changes to how reinforcements are pooled and a lot of other kind of minor tweaks to the quality of life in the game, and it's going to have some effects on the things that I'm talking about now. So in a video soon to come, I'll be talking about how these changes address some of the topics that I've been talking about here. And this will be a video that I make after playing some of the test server, at least for the new season, which comes out the day after filming this, and I will be playing it and getting kind of a feel for how it will be affecting Siege. So then beyond my major points that I've made already, I think there's a lot of minor things that are also quality of life changes that could happen in Siege to improve it. I think some of these go along the lines of key prompts. So say like vault prompts, I think should be triggered easier. I think that there's a lot of situations where realistically you can't get a vault prompt on somewhere where you absolutely need to vault in order to win a round in the next few seconds. You need to get somewhere and you need that vault prompt, and it just won't come. It won't come to you. You won't get it, or you'll get it too late and it won't work. I think there's also an issue here to be talked about with planting the diffuser. There's a delay from holding the diffuser button between when you actually plant the diffuser. There shouldn't be a delay there, or there should at least be an option to turn that delay off or set the plant to a different button where you can just plant the diffuser immediately. Because if there's a second left on the clock and you go to plant the diffuser, but this delay cuts you off, and even though you're holding the plant in sight, not moving, there shouldn't be this gap that punishes you for not planting sooner. Additionally, on top of all of that, I think that Siege needs to have a better training mode, or I guess that's the best way to put it. And they just changed the name of Terrace Hunt to Training Grounds because I guess they're acknowledging that most people only use Terrace Hunt to warm up or to increase their aim or crosshair placement or something. But it's great that they acknowledge that, but what they do need to acknowledge even further is that they need an actual training system to work on recoil patterns with different guns on different targets at different ranges, moving, standing still, whatever the case is. I mean, even practicing grenades, how long to cook them, how to throw them. There can be an entire different mode dedicated to this where you don't have to leave and come back every time you destroy 20 targets or you want to switch weapons. So these are all issues that I'm talking about at the end of Steel Wave. As I said before, the new season was just announced in the middle of making this video, so I'm going to be playing that and then making another video on my thoughts on how it affects it. So there will be another video, there will be a follow-up to this coming out soon-ish. However long it takes me to get a feel on the new season and how that's going to be affecting things. And then if you guys have any points on how you think Siege could improve its quality of life for its players and kind of bring back the player base or keep growing the player base that it has built over the 5 years that it's been out, let me know in the comments your thoughts, and if I missed anything, I would love to hear it. Might throw it in the next video and give you a little sneaky shout out for you. And I appreciate you watching. If you haven't gone and looked at my fucking Twitch, do that please. That's where I stream. That's where most of my content is on my live stream that I stream 6 nights a week. So I hope to see you there. Links in the bio. You guys have a good night. Peace.